Pipeline anxiety. If you have not heard this term before, let me rephrase it in a better way for you. Is your pipeline full of leads, but they are not qualified leads? You see, your reps are getting on sales call, talking to prospects, doing so many things every single day. But at the end of it, when you look at how many leads am I closing, how many sales am I getting out of it, numbers are not really convincing, right? Now this is exactly what we term as pipeline anxiety, because this is a case where you're getting a good number of leads but they are not qualitative enough. And to fix that, you just need this 3-step framework that I'm going to tell you right in this video. So hi, I am Saranya Narayanamurthy. I run the Content Board, which is a marketing agency, and Line Digital, which is a B2B sales development company, wherein we train, coach and consult entrepreneurs and the sales team on how they can make their sales process at least 10 times better. So with that being said, let's check out the video. First things first, do you experience pipeline anxiety? And especially when you do that, do you keep thinking, okay, this is just a part of the sales process? Now, if you're doing that, let me tell you one thing. It might be a part of the sales process, but just because it's normal doesn't mean you can let it coexist, right? So from here, I'm understanding that, okay, you have a good number of lead flow, which means you are generating leads every day. You just do not know how to optimize it for the right way. So the first thing that I would like you to check is, see the relevance between the quality of the lead, the size of the deals, and especially do they actually have an intent. And how do you do that? You do this with a scoring system. Now, prospect scoring is a very simple process that happens across the B2B industry. Now, what we do is, for every single lead that comes in, we have a checklist. Now, this checklist will be more about the size of the company, the revenue of the company, what is the trigger that they should have, possibly because let's say if you are selling a CRM as a enterprise software, then you need to be sure that the company has at least minimum 7 to 8 SDRs, right? Only then a CRM of your size is relevant to them. So first you see what is the size, so what is the demography of the company if you are demography specific, and then you see other triggers available. From there you look at, do they have an urgent need, which means what is the goal that they have. Now there are few things in a scoring system that you can already check off, either tick or say no without talking to the prospect. But then when you meet your prospect, have the rest of the things handy. Now this would be something like, is this person authoritative enough to make a decision? Do they have the budget to work on, or do they even have the intent to work on? Because trust me when I say this, sometimes prospects come with a predefined mindset. And to change that predefined mindset, they need a lot of education. You need to educate them on, this is a sales process, this is how it works, this is how the process is, and this is exactly how the entire journey should be. And this education might take a lot of time. So when you are scoring this, be honest with you and be very authentic in the entire process. Because if you are saying, I don't want to lose a prospect, so maybe let me just set it aside. Take this process very seriously, because I'm not telling you to eliminate the leads. I'm just telling you to score them properly, to prioritize it. So let's just get through the process. So when you have your scores ready, now is when you segment it. Now segment it based on these 3 categories that I told you. Number 1, how urgent is their requirement, which means are they looking to get started with you immediately, or are they looking to know from you and then take a decision. Second, look for authority. Is it the person who is immediately going to sign off and get it started? Because in that case, talking to them and pushing the lead further will be of better use to you. Third and the most important one, problem awareness. Are they very clear that this is a problem and is your product the solution to them? Now you might ask me these questions. Okay, how will I know? What is the triggers for it, or what are the symptoms that they know that this is a problem that they are facing? This you will get to know when you are communicating with the sales call. How clear, how to the point are their conversations are. Because if they are not beating around the bush, if they are not going around, if they are not telling a lot of, let's say, irrelevant things that are brought into the picture, if so many other things are not there and if you are just sticking to the point, you can know that they are looking for a quicker closure. Again, beating around the bush or talking a lot of other things is not a bad sign. It's just a sign that the particular buyer lacks clarity. And when they lack clarity, you need to educate them and then take it, which means the sales cycle will be a little extended. So focus on the prospect who already have an urgency, because when you focus on them, you will be able to follow up and push the leads to closure in a much quicker way. And when this happens, then you can go back to educating the buyers. So ideally, if you're working with a team of SDRs, I would suggest split them into 3 categories. Part 1 is where only the hot closures are happening, which means there is an emergency, they already know that this is a thing to buy, they already know that this is a solution to their problem and they just wanted to buy. So this is where there will be active SDRs who call multiple times a day, do follow-ups and just be on top of their heads to get the sales closed. And in cases where there is an urgent requirement, prospect don't really see that as a problem because the urgency came from them and it's not coming from you. Second, have a group of SDRs who are in the education process. Now in this case, this SDR will not push through a lot but will keep them updated on a consistent basis in terms of timeline, in terms of let's say the schedules, and will tell them how efficiently or what are the offers that they can work with. So this way, when there are offers or when this education is done, when they finally think they are ready to make a sale, that is when they will be moved to the first category. The third one is where there is a potential prospect but they neither have an urgent requirement nor are they aware of what they want, they just wanted to explore this avenue. So if you think in this case they fit the customer persona but they do not fit into the requirement side, they do not know that this is a product that they want and you are unsure that they will buy, but still it's a valid connection, build relationships. So assign those types of leads to SDR who are good with relationship building, because in this case what happens is they are able to retain the client, they are able to make sure that the client comes back to you whenever there is a need, because they fit in the customer persona, they just don't have an immediate requirement, that's it. When you clearly score your prospects, you can very easily identify or segment between this prospect fit the bill, they will be closing up sooner, this prospect just needs a little push and the other one needs a long-term relationship building. So when you have these segmented properly, you will know which lead to chase, which one to nurture and which one to just let it go on the sideline. So when you have these clearly, you will no longer feel like you're chasing the wrong person, nor are your follow-up efforts going into waste. So just ensure that the scoring is done properly. Now once you score, once you nurture and once you have this process clear, the next thing that I want you to do is upstream your buyers. Now upstreaming your buyers is something like adding more buyers to your pipeline. Now your goal of having a pipeline sorted is cool, but how do you add more prospect to the hot pipeline, because that's where the conversions happen, right? So for this, ensure that your nurture funnel is clearly built. So this will mean educating them, giving them more info, showing them more of what exactly you are bringing to the table and giving them more avenues of if they take up your service, where will they be, versus if they do not take up your service in the next 6 months, where will they be? Because sometimes prospects just need a reality check. And you know where the reality check comes from? It comes between the difference of if I do this, where will I be? If I don't do this, where will I be? Because anyway, time is going to pass, they are going to come to that same. So if your product is going to be in line for 3 months, show them where they will be after 3 months if they choose you versus if they do not choose you. So this will help them to push past faster. If you are looking forward to learn more about B2B sales and keep learning more about the different systems, different methodologies and what all is essential for you to grow your sales funnel, then follow this YouTube channel for more and definitely turn on the notifications, because here you're going to learn much more about B2B sales, growing your business, expanding your sales team and especially generating leads and closing sales in the most efficient way possible. So with that being said, signing off for now, Saranya Narayanamurthy. Let's close some sales.